Hello, welcome to another episode of What's Relevant. I'm Silas, this is Daniel from Duotech Services, and today we're here to talk about RF power amplification. Now traditionally this has been done with tube-based devices, from the magnetron that allowed radar to get started in the 1940s, TWTs, traveling wave tubes, klystrons, thyrotrons. You know, there's a whole bunch of devices that have come out of that. Lots of trons.
Yeah.
You know, more recently we've had some other devices, solid state devices, that have let that kind of happen.
Yeah, that's one of the great things is transistors. There have been some older types of transistors that have let us produce higher RF powers. Really dealing with gallium arsenide whenever you wanted to get, you know, into the hundreds of megs or gigahertz range with some power. But really what's causing a lot of stir right now, especially in that higher power range, are materials like gallium nitride and silicon carbide, where we can actually get the heat out of these devices and make a nice big bang with the RF.
Yeah, we're talking here, you know, S-band, L-band, X-band, the whole gamut. I mean, there's obviously different trade-offs for these devices.
Even up to the KU band,
Yeah, in these different ranges, though, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, we talk about tubes, right, or transistors. I know there's also some devices, you know, NPMs that hybridize the two, you know, kind of try to get some of the best of both worlds.
Sure, get your initial power up to get your main bang high power out.
How do these two compare, right? So let's look at some different reasons and ways that we can compare tubes and transistors.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, really, you're going to have some trade-offs that are involved as well. Great, I can produce a lot of RF energy, but how do I get this device up to the point where I can use it? If I have a tube like a TWT, that's a great device for a lot of high power RF, but I need some very extreme voltages to bias the tube to begin with, whereas with a gallium nitride type device, I may be talking about 20, 28, or 40 volts to bias the transistor to use it.
Correct. Another thing that's really important to understand with tubes is that their efficiency and their reliability is highly coupled to the accuracy and control that the power supplies have.
Absolutely.
And especially when you're talking about pulsed radar and communication systems, those current ripples and all that kind of thing can really affect the life of the tube if it's not done right. So a very complex power supply is one of the downsides to TWT amplifiers.
Absolutely, absolutely. And efficiency is another thing where you have, even though with a gallium nitride device, which you may consider be a nice efficient RF device, total power, you're probably still dealing with something in the 20s, worse with a TWT or something in that range. But when it comes to having excess heat, things like silicon carbide allow us to get past that 150 degrees C level where most transistors have issues at. However, tubes can operate even hotter, can't they?
Yeah, and obviously solid state devices can be a lot smaller than tubes. But they're also trying to get rid of the same amount of heat. So trying to get rid of the same heat in a smaller package can be challenging, and the tube, because it can run hotter, means you don't have to get rid of as much heat. So
which leads you to packaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when it comes to packaging these devices, really if you're dealing with like planar RF devices, a lot of conduction cooled type paradigms come up. With tubes, they're kind of in the shape that lets the physics work. So you often have the constraints of that and the constraints of the packaging of the underlying more picky power supply, right?
Yeah, and when you're talking high voltage, you've got dielectrics that you got to work with, and you've got materials there that need to be cooled, but it's also 20,000 volts from ground. So you've got to pay attention to isolated heat sinks and some other things that can become challenging.
It's less of a don't touch it with a screwdriver, but don't look at it wrong, right?
Yeah.
For that snap, crackle, pop. And reliability, if we're dealing with a TWT that's highly reliable with a military application, we could be talking about single-digit thousands of hours as probably a pretty lofty reliability level. With gallium nitride, we're all of a sudden talking about tens of thousands of hours for many of these devices, where if you're dealing with something where you don't have to be worried about tuning the voltage as the device degrades as much, then for some of these places where you can't get to them as easily, like space, these can be good options, right?
Yeah, and right now, I mean, tubes are still king in space communications because their reliability and what their ruggedness that they can handle is so good.
Radiation sensitivity.
Yeah, and so tubes really do still win out right there. And there are some smaller kind of micro TWTs that have been made to kind of solve some of those packaging constraints and things like that. But, you know, a lot of, you know, modern radars, you know, the solid state, especially as you go to more phased array electronic arrays where you need lots of little bits of power instead of one big main bang. The
Sum of elements,
the lower peak power of the solid state devices becomes less of an issue than it does with the big things. Now, your big radars that are megawatts of power, the combiners for solid state system would just never let something like that.
Sure,
really
and
be
at
efficient.
some point in the future, we'll probably see that, and probably in the relatively near term. But right now, you see a lot of your ground-based radar systems that have those power levels. You're still dealing with tubes. There's some communication systems. You're still going to see tubes involved in there. Dealing with SATCOM, though, as opposed to ground radio, you see a lot of tubes still involved there, even though solid state is inching its way in. And that's one of the things that here at Duotech, we provide solutions relevant to your problem, whether it's a high power tube-based solution, whether it's a medium or high power solid state, or even a low power solid state solution. Visit us online at duotechservices.com, follow us on Twitter, contact us, and we would love to have a conversation about how we can help you with your project.